Happy Friday, everybody. It has become sunny spring in northern Cal. Finally, that was quite the winter here, and even the locals, the longtime locals will tell you, the ones I've talked to, they haven't seen a rainy, dark, heavy-duty winter like that for as long as they can remember. So it's pretty interesting. California is out of a drought in most of its spots now just because of those 17 atmospheric rivers that pounded us. God, it was something. Anyway, I'm glad spring has arrived and the sunshine too. So today I want to talk about being alone. And it's a question I even got with quizzical expressions at military checkpoints in Baja. Soldiers apparently don't see too many men traveling from the States alone. It was always an eyebrow raise. And they'd have to look in the back to make sure, because it just didn't make sense. And I have to admit, I didn't meet any other solo male travelers in rigs down there. Interestingly enough, quite a few solo females traveling in like caravans, which is very wise. Not that Baja's a dangerous place, but it's just wise. And I have gotten that question many times, isn't your life lonely? You're alone so much, how do you deal with that? And the reality is, I like being alone. I'm a very solitary person, and for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me because of that. Some people may still think something's wrong with me because of that. Doesn't matter. I've finally come to peace with the fact that, I love being alone. I love my solo time. And I'm not a recluse. I'm not a hermit. I like interacting with people very much. I mean, that's the whole outreach of what I'm doing. I love time with my loved ones. So it's not like I don't like people. I do very much. But there's something about being alone and let my time just open up and wander without being entertained or directed or misdirected or anything that I absolutely love. The tricky thing is, in our culture in the United States, it's generally, there's an idea or a concept or a general belief that, a man or a woman who's middle-aged or whatever that's alone is somehow there's something wrong with them. If they aren't partnered up, then there's something wrong with them. And it's just bullshit. Not everybody ends up with a lifetime mate. A lot can happen in your life, can change that path. And, if it's a really big deal, if you're a type of person that just can't deal with it, being alone, not having a partner, then by God, you will find a partner. You'll work it out and you'll have a partner. But if you're like me and you love the, total freedom of being solo, then embrace it and quit feeling bad about it. I mean, it's amazing how many different angles in this country, in our society, come at you to make you feel like you're doing something wrong if you're staying by yourself by choice. Please know that distinction with me here. I'm talking about where it's not like I couldn't, pursue something. No, I'm choosing, this is what I like. I like my absolute freedom. And you could take a lot of shit for that. You really can. And that can be difficult at times. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to be alone. If that's what you like, it's fine. Don't let everybody work you over. I was raised in a super conservative, fanatical Christian family, childhood situation where virtual absolute bedrock of adulthood is you're going to get married and you're going to have children. That's what you do. If you do anything less than that, well, you've failed or something's wrong or you're not right with God. Jeez. And so it took a long time to work my way through that. And of course, I was raised through some abusive childhood stuff. And so everything was messed up in my head about, my value alone. I couldn't be valuable alone. I had to find a partner. I had to get married eventually. That was the whole point, and so through a lot of dysfunction, I carried that forward and lived with that. And, you know, I loved my wife very much. We're like the best of friends. We're still great friends. But as we worked out through all of our dysfunction, it turned out that we weren't. Like, it was the dysfunction in a lot of ways that brought us together, that allowed us to just accept parts of our lives that we weren't happy with, because we had such a heavy load on us saying this is what is the right thing to do. And that's a really sad thing, because you can have real love, but that dysfunction can just absolutely poison and corrode and destroy things. And it all comes back to the point that, okay, if what you want, if what you are, who you are, is unacceptable to the culture around you, which is the case for a lot of people in this, especially in the United States, I can't speak to other countries, for all manner of reasons, it is an enormous act of courage to accept yourself and say, no, I'll willingly risk your rejection because I have to be who I am. And I really respect that with people who do that, because bridges are burning. They just are. Those people that love them will hopefully find their way to just accept and love them. But that's not always the case. I've been fortunate. I don't have a radically, controversial or difficult lifestyle for my family to accept, and most of them love me and accept it. It's just the reality, but it's not the case for a lot of people. I have a lot of good fortune in terms of that. But I guess what I'm trying to speak to is that for people in your world that you see at work or home, in your family, wherever, that are being brave enough to really be who they are in the face of it being completely counterculture, maybe within your family's culture or within society in general, you need to really encourage them, or at least be a really good, a true ally to them, love them, because love is about a lot more than how you may feel about what they're doing. As we all know, you love through everything, There's nothing my children could do, no crime they could commit, that would ever keep me from loving them. I'd be heartbroken over something terrible that they may have done that harmed someone else, but I'm never going to stop loving my kids, and they'd have to work through what happened, and that's a really radically extreme example. But the point is, people who have the courage to do what they feel they must do from the core of their being, be who they are, despite what everyone around them would like them to do, you should take a second look at them and not be so judgmental. Imagine being that person who just can't bear to live a conventional lifestyle. Maybe they can't tolerate all that you can tolerate. They just don't want it. That doesn't make them a freak. It doesn't make them broken or something wrong with them. So check yourself and kind of try to step in their shoes if you can, and imagine, what if, that was my thing. So just kind of like a big winding rant, because I had to. I've been thinking a lot about it lately, and I still do battle with that every now and then, that, is there something wrong with me because I'm so happy alone? And thankfully, I don't have to have that discussion with myself too long before I remember all this. Say, dude, you're fine. You're not running away from anything. You're embracing your life. You're embracing what you love. So anyway, that's my message. Embrace what you love fearlessly and have the courage to do it. Anyway, happy Friday. Hope you all have a great weekend. One thing I wanted to add after watching all these clips put together, and then I thought, oh, yeah. So part of the reason I need the alone time I need is that I'm very deeply empathetic. And I absorb and feel the energy of anybody I'm interacting with quite intensely. And I end up pretty much losing track of what I'm feeling or thinking in a lot of ways because I'm so dialed into feeling what they're feeling. And that takes a lot of energy out of a person. And I need significant recoup time after that. Even when it's positive stuff, that's the crazy thing. I could have a great time for a couple days with a loved one or anybody, and I need some freaking time after that. Even though it was positive, it's just the nature of how my spirit works. And I think that's probably true for a lot of empathetic people. We're just that way. You know, we need a recoup time. Some more than others. I guess I need more than others. Anyway, I wanted to add that little PS to this video. All right, later.